How's it going, everybody? I'm Josh from the Drunken Highlander, and this is a quick deck tech video for a Colorless Landfall deck. A deck that seems like it would be absolutely terrible until you actually think about it for a second, and then you realize it's like absolutely okay. If you aren't familiar with the Elder Drunken Highlander deep lore, we really like landfall decks. Like a lot. We won't shut up about the mono white landfall deck that we made with our Discord and friend of the channel Cop Cop. We put out a mono black landfall deck just a few weeks ago, and we even released a podcast length video where we go over like 8 different non-green landfall decks in detail. Hey, this is one of those decks. Since that infamous episode, a lot of cards have come around that upgrade the Colorless Landfall deck from a meme into a dream. We get a slightly better commander in Liberator, Urza's Battlethopter, new Proliferate All-Stars which help with our main winning combo, and we can now take even more advantage of effects like the Initiative, which helps set us up for later turns. Most notably, we get a tutorable enabler for our landfall sack shenanigans in Gerard's Hourglass Pendant. This plus Zuran Orb makes for a lot of life and a lot of landfall all in one turn, and we need both of those things in order to win. Before that though, if you haven't already, just make sure you subscribe to the channel. YouTube tells us that most of our viewers are not subbed yet, so what are you waiting for? Hit the button. We also have a Discord server where we talk to members of the community and play webcam games of Magic, and a Twitter where I mostly talk smack. Follow our other socials for more of that good content. This is a landfall deck, which means that we'll be winning primarily through landfall-based strategies. Our commander, Liberator, may not help with landfall stuff overtly, but does enable all of our landfall enablers, making him a bit of an alley-oop in the command zone. Giving landfall enablers such as Solemn Simulacrum Flash helps with sneaky combat tricks and other lines, and giving our big artifacts like Tamio's Journal and Contagion class Flash helps set us up for big plays on other turns or our own if we want to play a big thing and then untap with it. This guy is especially gassed with our deck's all-star gear per orrery, allowing us to control when it comes down so we benefit the most from the timing of its effects. Lastly, the Battlethopter sure do be doing battle. We can put land helper equipment like Sword of the Animus, Sword of Feast and Famine, and Explorer Scope on it to help enable more land shenanigans, or we can stick on some adventuring gear and go to Beat Town. Outside of Liberator, we have a suite of landfall friends who help us remind the table that yes, in fact, we are playing Colorless Landfall. Hedron Rover and Hedron Scrabbler are our most basic landfall buddies, and we also have adventuring gear in a similar vein to back them up. Seer's Sundial helps keep our hands full, and last but not least, we have one of our own ways to win, Eternity Vessel. Eternity Vessel means that we can reset our life total every time we play a land. This means that with a handy-dandy Evolving Wild sitting on the battlefield, the only thing that can stifle our victory, besides a stifle, would be somehow one-shotting us. Anything short of that will get our life total reset. This gets a little nutty when you either play the vessel from a life total above 50, maybe by bolstering it up with Golem's Heart or Zuran Orb, or proliferate it to above 50 with something like Staff of Completion, which, by the way, costs 0 life once you make a land drop. Just saying. Once we have about 51 charge counters, we can start channeling our colorless land energy into a gigantic laser. Yup, it's Aether Flux time, baby. Go to 51, shoot a man, play a land, go back to 51, shoot another man. Repeat until you win. Besides that ridiculous jank combo that's really easy to disrupt, we also sport a way to destroy all of our opponent's lands with the classic Urborg and Karmaspell combo. Contagion Engine can wipe somebody's lands here, sorry Austin, to completely take them out of the game. Mean? Yes, but hey, at least you only have a single Annihilator Eldrazi, so they can't complain about that. If you can manage to recur Contagion Engine, say with a Buried Ruin, you can do this to each player. Our final combo is a true land-based one, as in it uses almost exclusively lands. I stole this shamelessly from Banks, one of our Discord mods, and his mono white landfall deck. Start with Rings of Brighthearth, Deserted Temple, and Scorched Ruins. Tap Ruins for 4 colorless mana, and then spend 1 of it to untap the Ruins with Temple. Spend 2 more to copy Temple's ability with Rings of Brighthearth and untap the Temple too. Now you're back to where you started plus 1 colorless mana. Do it again for infinite mana. Once you have infinite colorless mana, you can activate another land. This one is Wrath's Edge. Sacrifice Drownyard Temple and deal a damage to somebody with Wrath's Edge. Now spend 3 to return the Drownyard Temple. Activate the Desert Temple and copy it with Rings of Brighthearth to untap Temple and Wrath's Edge. Now repeat this loop for infinite damage and infinite landfall triggers on your Drownyard Temple. I'm sure at some point in this loop you'll win the game. Aw yeah, baby, that's some more of that convoluted jank craft that this channel is all about. Land combos. You put this in literally any deck, it's a colorless land combo. We also have a lot of ways to buff Liberator for a good old-fashioned Voltron kill. This is probably our most reliable way of winning. You've heard of Karmaspell and Urborg, but what about Staff of Titania and Yavimaya? Landfall and power, sign me up. Elsewhere Flask can also help power up these combos for a turn, if need be. Then there's the Tutor Suite. I have my favorite Adventurous Fair Expedition map package in there to help us find nearly anything in the deck from basically any of our tutors. All drains lead to the ocean and all tutor chains lead to the Ring of Three Wishes, which can conveniently get us all 3 of our combo pieces or a big value creature like an Eldrazi. Well, only one of our Eldrazi has the scary mechanic. It is It the Betrays, which is the landfall enabler. Ideally, our opponents sacrifice their lands, and then we get them, which means that we'll be able to do more landfall shenanigans. The other thing I really like about It the Betrays is it completely shuts down any sacrifice-based combos. Like, no, you will not be looping that creature, I will be taking it. We also have a few other land-adjacent Eldrazi, such as Oblivion Sower and Walker of the Wastes in the deck as well. I wish there were more waste-based Eldrazi, maybe we'll get more of those in the future. Lastly, our ramp package. We have all the classics like Burnished Heart to get lands right into play. Matter Reshaper is a janky but functional land drop maker too, as is Walking Atlas. Our equipment and a few other artifacts round this one out. Notable inclusions. These are the cards that I felt I wanted to showcase for whatever reason. Warping Whale. It's a colorless counterspell, it removes utility creatures, and it can sometimes go +1 mana. I love this card. All is Dust. To be honest, this is just our best win con. Conqueror's Galleon. This card does it all. Literally, read the back. Conqueror's Foothold does everything this deck needs. Recursion and draw. Sign me up. Field of the Dead. It wouldn't really be an Elder Drunken Highlander landfall deck without us jamming like 10 basic lands to make Field of the Dead work, would it? Notable exclusions. These are cards that I left out that you may want to consider for your own version of this build. The Eldrazi. I just didn't want this to be an Eldrazi deck, to be honest with you. I tried to keep them to a minimum. They would definitely improve the deck's strength to be added. Pilgrim's Eye and Friends. They were in here with the hope of Girapur as the commander, but now I don't really want them to compete with our commander at the 3 CMC slot, which is where Urza's Battlethopter sits, especially when our commander is better than these guys most of the time. Thawing Glaciers. I actually kind of hate this card. I don't know, fight me. That's it. That's the entire deck. Colorless Landfall. Wow. If you want to support our bullshit, make sure to leave a comment, a like, and subscribe. It helps a lot. We have other socials you can follow in the description too. Oh, and a Patreon. Pay us, I guess, if you want. Thanks for watching and stay janky, my friends. I'll see you next time.